Alright, let me bring the mic down. Alright. What's going on, everybody? Don't look over there or back there. Let me just take it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's better. That's way better. Why? You see him back there looking at me? You see my dog back there? Hey, buddy. Say hi to people? Come on. Come on. No? Okay. He's not feeling very chatty right now. Okay, so I wanted to welcome you guys in to the last one that we're doing for the AFC. Okay, this is going to be the last one before I have to reshoot the intro. I don't know how I was able to nail the intro for the AFC version, but now I'm going to have to nail it again for the NFC version. I'm not very good when it comes to... Wait, let me... Yeah. I'm not very good when it comes to trying to, like, find the correct words, to frame the sentence how I want when I'm trying to adhere to information. So trying to figure out the correct wording, how I want it to come across is always difficult. So I gotta make sure that I lock that in. I know you. Yeah, I know you know me. I was just on the phone with you. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get right to it, guys, because I told you we're going to go ahead and talk about the AFC East today. So let me go ahead and feign like I didn't already say that so I can make an intro for the YouTube video. All right, because I need that. Serge, stop shaking. I'm going to take your collar off. Come here. Hey, buddy. I'm going to take this collar off. It's too loud. All right, bear with me for a second while I shoot this over-the-top intro. All right. Welcome back to the channel, y'all, and today we'll be going over the AFC East. And the first team that we're going to be covering in today's video... Wait, no, that's not right. See, I'm doing too much. Let's do it again. Nothing about this, but hey, that's honestly, that's all I can ask for. We got supporters in the chat. Wish I could, I don't even know how to like this. I'm going to pin it, though. I am going to pin it. That's what's up. I appreciate that. All right. We're going to try this again. Welcome back to the channel, guys. And today we're going to be going over the AFC West. No, not West. It's not the West. And it's hot in here. It's way too hot in here for all this. Okay. I got to do all this extra stuff because I didn't do this beforehand. It's hot and I'm sweating. I'm not going to be sweating while I'm trying to record. I want to be comfortable. Okay, let's try this for the very last time. Lock me in, chat. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy. No, it's not your boy. I'm not your boy. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Let's try this again. Let's try this again. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy. It's not your boy. I just said this shit. Oh my god. Okay, let's try this one final time. Okay. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. It's Blue42 here, and we got a special video for y'all today, man. We're going to be going over the AFC East, and in today's video, we're going to be covering the New York Jets. Let's hear it for them. Wait, that's not... Who played a trash can sound effect? I guess I'm going to fire my editor. I don't know why he decided to do that. He'd be an extra today. Alright, anyway, guys, we're going to be covering the New York Jets today. And in the last video, we finished up the AFC South. That was with the Texans. So now we're going to start with the Jets, who obviously, their number one need is a quarterback. Everybody knows it's the worst kept secret in the NFL. I'm not even sure it's a secret at this point. Everybody knows the Jets, the Browns, and the Cardinals have perennially needed a quarterback. And the Jets and the Browns and the Cardinals still need a quarterback. So let's just go ahead and dive straight in, and let's continue to talk about what the Jets need. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up their profile. Okay. So this is the draft board from New York. Now I'm trying to figure out. Okay, the first pick was David Bailey. That's right, because I had them selecting Arvell Reese. If you look at my mock draft, I was really mad about this. I thought they were gonna take Arvell Reese. I had them taking Arvell Reese with the second overall pick, and I had who they actually ended up taking. I'm pretty sure I had him selected later. What was his name again? David Bailey. Where did I have David Bailey going? David Bailey. He was fourth. Okay. I had him going fourth to the Titans, but he ended up going in the top 3, and he wasn't 3. He went 2 to the Jets, and Arvell Reese ended up sliding a little bit. I think he slid to 5th, and that's where the Giants selected him. Ruben Bain, he slid to 15th, and that's where the Buccaneers selected him. So, my mock draft was incorrect, and I want to do a breakdown of it and tell you guys my reasoning for that. I'll probably do that another day. But I'm going to go ahead and get back to this. So they drafted David Bailey right here with their second selection. He's the number 1 edge rusher in this draft. Or was he? It says he's the number 1 ranked at this position. So I'm pretty sure I don't know what overall. Okay. 3rd ranked prospect overall. Okay. So yeah, top 3 prospect in this draft, he went to. You know, he wasn't going to make it out of the top 5 anyway. So, you know, he went here. And let's go look at his stats. So I pulled up his stats from when he was in college. This is what got him drafted in the top 2. I mean, this right here. He had 52 total tackles, 32 solo, and 20 assisted tackles. But then you look at his sacks. This is a crazy number. 14.5 sacks. He's a game wrecker. He is a game changer. So we understand that nothing to be said about why he went in the top 3. We understand he went top 3 and he's not 3. So we can't even fault them for that. That was a good pickup for them. It really was. So David Bailey, his comp is Nick Bonito, and I made this comp during my pre-draft process when I was thinking about where he would go, what players would go where, and strangely enough, I did predict Caleb Downs going to the Cowboys, but where I had it mocked, it was at 11. Or no, it wasn't 11. It was at 9. And he actually went 11th, but I had it mocked for 9. And it was the Chiefs supposed to trade for him, or trade that pick with Dallas. They ended up not. And what ended up happening instead was Mekhi Lemon went later in the draft. Why am I talking about? We're not here to talk about the mock draft. We're here to talk about what actually ended up happening. So I'm gonna just get back on topic because I'm getting distracted. All right, Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. Now I don't know why the Panthers did not select him. They desperately needed tight end help. He was there, and they let him slide right past him, and he got snapped up immediately. 16th overall selection, and he was off the board. I want to look at my mock draft one more time. Or was it the Panthers? No, the Panthers didn't have that selection. Who was it? Somebody let him go past, and they could have used a tight end. I don't know who it was. I thought it was the Panthers, but the Panthers never had that chance to take them unless they traded up. But I don't think they traded up over here, so it makes sense they couldn't get him. I didn't think the Jets were going to take Kenyon Sadiq. I didn't understand why they would do that. And then they doubled back later in the draft, and they took Omar Cooper Jr. They're getting more wide receiver help, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I just don't understand it. You have a lot of holes on that offense and on that defense, and you're using one of your top 32 picks on a tight end. Jets. I gotta ask this question because it doesn't make sense. Why are you drafting a tight end here? I mean, yeah, you may need a tight end, but you can get a decent tight end in the 3rd round. Okay, a sack is when you tackle the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. That's what a sack is. But with Kenyon Sadiq, I just didn't see the need here. Like, they did not need him, right? They need edge help. They need cornerbacks. They need offensive guards, right? They need even a wide receiver would have been better here, right? I mean, they did not need Kenyon Sadiq. At worst, you know what they should have done is they should have traded back from this selection later in the draft, and then they could have got a better corner, and they could have got another guard. Loki, they could have drafted Monroe Freeling right here, or they could have drafted another one of those top guard prospects that was still on the board. But instead, they decided to go for Kenyon Sadiq. I'm not saying it was a bad selection. It just was an unnecessary one they didn't need right then and there. So that's just my take on it. Then they took Omar Cooper Jr. at the end of the first round. They traded back up to 30th, and they selected him. So because the Jets have a lot of first round assets this and next year, they really do. So they capitalized. They had 3 first round. No, it was this year. That's right. It was this year. I'm tripping. I'm looking at the board right now. Forget they had 3 first round picks. David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. Now, I like the selection of Omar Cooper Jr. because he's not going to come in and be the number one. That's obviously going to be Garrett Wilson's job. But he's a good complementary wide receiver, too. I see Omar Cooper Jr. He's a very good complementary wide receiver, too. Now, I don't think they view him as a wide receiver 1. If they did, that would mean Garrett Wilson would probably be on his way out the door. Because Garrett Wilson is the number 1 wide receiver for the Jets. And if he is no longer going to be the wide receiver 1, he's not going to be getting that significant pay raise. He's probably going to want to go somewhere where he can get that money. So they comp him to Rashee Rice. He says he mostly threatens with his vertical presence and zone coverage. He does a good job of finding soft spots in the defense. And when you look at his stats, I mean, you could tell he does do a good job of that. I mean, he had 69 receptions for 937 yards last year and 13 touchdowns. Yeah, he's a baller. This guy knows how to get open. He knows how to make defenders miss. I mean, he took huge leaps from his freshman year all the way up to this one. He went from 267 yards, 267 yards to 594 yards to 937 yards. He's just making steady leaps and bounds. I mean, this is a 400-yard gap from his sophomore year to his junior year. That's a huge leap. Or I think he was, 4 years? Okay, he's been there for 4 years. Because it said he had a year returning in 2022. So yeah, he's been at the school for all 4 years. But yeah, became a first-round pick. Good on him. Real good on him. All right. Now let's see who they selected next. D'Angelo Pons. This was a really great selection. And I'm you know what? I gotta clap it up. This was a good selection for him. This really was. Now they were able to get D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana. You know, there was a lot of talk about him maybe going in the top 30, maybe going in the first round or, early second. And surprisingly, he just kept sliding. And he slid all the way until the middle of the second round. And then he got picked up by the Jets. Now, this was a really great find. He's ranked 9th at his position group for corners. There are people saying he could go as high as, like, the 30s. Around the 30s. There's people saying he could go even later than that. He does cash in right around the 40 to 55-ish range. So, there is that. But D'Angelo Pons is a great pickup. And this is actually probably one of their best draft picks this year. They did a pretty good job getting him. Darnell Jackson Jr. from Florida State. He was the anchor of their defensive line. Even his production did not show it. He's ranked 9th at his position group. He's tall. He's 6'5", 315 pounds. He's a big dude. He relies on peak shed technique a lot. And Jackson is at his best when lined up at nose tackle. Fun fact, I actually played nose tackle in high school. I wasn't very good because I'm 5'5", 160 pounds, but I played nose tackle in high school. It just wasn't something I would recommend for somebody that's my weight, my size, my stature. Cade Klubnik, 4th round selection, quarterback, 11th at his position. It is said that he has had a up and down career as a 4-year starter at Clemson, which is true. The last quarterback to come out of Clemson that we thought was going to be good that turned up was DJ Uiagalelei, and he ended up going to Florida State and having a nightmare senior year. But yeah, it says he can be streaky at times, and he is adequate RPM on deep routes and downfield throws. Honestly, Klubnik will probably start for the Jets at some point this year because everybody knows Geno Smith is not the answer. So I don't think we're going to see Geno Smith start the whole year. We'll see Cade Klubnik at some point. I'm almost confident. We will see him or Brady Cook at some point this year. I wish they still had Jordan Travis because that guy might have done something for him. And you go over and look at his stats, and you can see why they say he's been so up and down. Look at his stats, right? From his sophomore year, 2,800 yards, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. you know, with a quarterback rating of 126, and then he had his best season last year with 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He should have went out last year. He probably would have been a top quarterback in that draft. They probably would have went probably by the end of the second round. Instead, he fell to the fourth round this year. I think if he would have came out last year, probably would have had a better time getting drafted. Probably a little bit of easier chance to get drafted higher as well. And then you look at his last year stats: 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 2,900 yards. Yeah, that's just not good enough production to be a top quarterback in this draft. It just wasn't. But then again, this was a bad year for quarterbacks all around. If he wanted to have a better face for a quarterback, probably should have came out last year or came out the year after. Well, he couldn't do that anyway, I don't think. I didn't have any years left because he burned his redshirt year this year. So, but yeah, Cade Klubnik. Don't think he'll be their franchise quarterback, so let's not worry about that one. It's not happening. I don't see Cade Klubnik being the franchise quarterback for the Jets, but who knows. Inez Cooper, guard out of Miami. He's ranked 6th at his position, and he's a tall bitch. He is 6'6". Jesus. Why are they getting taller? 334 pounds from Miami. It says his strong, wide body gives him power to move defenders. I bet. I mean, yeah, look, he's 6'6". 300. If you can't move somebody at 6'6", 300 pounds, you playing the wrong sport, my guy. You shouldn't even, I mean, if you can't move somebody, you that big. I don't know what to tell you. Said he needs to play with a better knee bend, and he is best when blocking head up with a defender. Okay. And this was one of the draft picks they got from Cleveland. Okay, so this is the pick they got towards the end of the first round. No, it wasn't, because Seattle didn't trade that pick. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me. Last pick was VJ Payne from Kansas State. He is a safety. 6'3", 206 pounds. He started 42 games over the past 4 seasons in run support. He plays strong downhill, but he needs to use his length better. Okay, said he missed 12 tackles on design rushes. Well, that's not good. You gotta work on that. Matter of fact, this is one of the first guys I've seen get drafted from K-State this year. But he's gonna have to work on some of these issues if he wants to hang around in the league. Now let's go look at their draft grade. Let's look at the roster first. Actually, as you can see, Klubnik is their 3rd string quarterback behind Brady Cook, and Bailey Zappi is here. I don't even know why. He's gonna end up being on the practice squad anyway. But yeah, behind Brady Cook, you got Cade Klubnik. You scroll down, look at the wide receivers. Omar Cooper Jr. is right here behind Adonai Mitchell, so he's slotted here. Tight ends, Kenyon Sadiq is right there. And then you keep scrolling down and look what else they have. David Bailey slots in right here, as he should. D'Angelo Pons is going to be one of their starting corners. And I'm trying to see if I can find another one of their rookies. Where's that other safety? VJ Payne. There he is. 3rd string free safety. So, don't expect him to get any minutes unless they slot him somewhere else, or Minka gets hurt or gets traded, or he just develops at a rapid rate. And then when you go and look at the Jets draft grade, right, the experts give them a B+. The Jets did a really good job this year in the draft. I don't understand why they gave him a C- for drafting David Bailey. Why did they get a C- for that? I'm not sure I understand why they gave him a C-. The Jets did actually a really good job drafting this year. I don't get why they gave him a C-. They got Omar Cooper Jr. and D'Angelo Pons. Those are 2 A+. Those are 2 A+. They did a really good job. Matter of fact, I'm not going to lie. Jets, because you had 3 first-round draft picks, you were always going to have a decent score. I mean, you always were. But I got to go ahead and make it official. New York Jets, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all an A- grade. I don't really like this B- that they gave you. You guys don't deserve a B-. You deserve you guys don't deserve a B+. You deserve an A-. That's honestly what I think. I like the way you guys attacked your draft. I just don't understand why you took Kenyon Sadiq there. I get it was a position of need for you. Probably could have got him a little bit later. Not him, but you probably got another tight end a little bit later in the draft. I mean, you went and attacked your needs, so I can't really hate on it too much. So, I'm going to go ahead and update that in doc as soon as I get to it. I'll go ahead and update this. So, get the Jets A-. Alright. And now, we're going to move on to the Bills for the next one. But that'll be in the next episode. Or next part. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do the little outro for this one. Then I'll, so. But, yeah. So that's it for this one. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all alone. Let me stop. Slow down. Time out. Let's try this again. Alright, so that's it for this one. We just got done with the Jets. So next one we're going to be doing is going to be the Buffalo Bills. And I'm excited to see who they drafted because it's about to get interesting. So you guys get on out of here. Have a good one. Alright, and I'm going to go here for a second. Alright, I'm back, y'all. Let's get straight to it. Alright, welcome back, y'all. We're going to be talking about the AFC East today, and we're going to be moving to... Alright, let's lock in. Alright. Welcome back, y'all. And today, we're going to be covering... Let's slow that down. We're going to be covering the AFC East, and we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite team, the Buffalo Bills. The reason why I say they're everybody's favorite team is because every year, when the Buffalo Bills lose in the playoffs, they're always going up against the team somebody wants them to beat. Last year it was the Denver Broncos. Previously, it has been the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just saying. People I know, they are not Buffalo Bills fans. They'll turn into Bills fans come the playoffs. They always do. And they swear they're going to beat them this year. They're going to beat the Chiefs this year. And what do? Every single time. They fail. Don't they, buddy? Alright. So let's go ahead and get to talking about the Bills. I'm going to go ahead and pull them up. And my dog is staring at me. I think it's kind of funny. I never seen him do that. Like, I could just look at him. He's not looking at me right now. He was. Okay. Now, Buffalo. They drafted T.J. Parker, edge rusher, out of Clemson. He was ranked 8th at his position. Okay, they didn't have a first-round pick, so it makes sense. Their first selection came in the second round. And then they drafted Davison Igbun. I got this, guys. Igbino's son. Davison from Ohio State. And he's a cornerback. He was ranked 11th at his position group. They got him at the end of the second round. 6'2", 189 pounds. Says he possesses the length and, pause. It ran a 4.5 second 40-yard dash at the combine. It led to, oh wow, that's bad. He had a nation-high 16 penalties in 2024. So basically, Vontaze Burfict type player. Chases with good effort, has sound tackling, 52 tackles last season, has translatable tools, but will need to clean up his game to be truly effective. Okay. Let's minimize those penalties, Jalen Ramsey. We don't need those. I'm not saying it's going to be Jalen Ramsey. I'm just saying we don't need him to get... No, not Michael. Yeah, no, because who's the corner that kept getting into fights with Michael Crabtree? AJ Boye? I don't know, but we don't need that. Whatever that, let's leave that mess. Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters is one that was always getting into trouble. Jude Bowery, offensive tackle from Boston College. 6'5", 314 pounds. Logged all but 2 of his 23 career starts at left tackle. Okay, so it means he only played left tackle except for twice. Showcases good leg drive, but he plays high. It makes it hard for him to harness power to move defenders off their point. He can climb to the second level and get out on the edge on screen passes, but he needs to develop better upper body strength to sustain his blocks. Okay. 4th round selection, 4th round talent. You're going to get players like this. Basically, he needs to develop. All right, we're going to do a speed run on this. Skylar Bell, wide receiver out of UConn. 13th ranked at his position group. Buffalo could have drafted a wide receiver a little bit earlier, but they didn't need to. I mean, they already have Keon Coleman. I'm going to keep saying Keon Coleman because I want to see Blood play well, but they got to treat him with some dignity and let him know he's welcome and they want him to be there. Because I don't know if Keon Coleman wants to be in Buffalo right now. They haven't shown him that they want him there, so I'll probably reciprocate the same type of energy. I mean, if I was him, I'd want to be there. But if you guys don't want to treat me the way I deserve, why would I want to be there? But in the same breath, Keon, you cannot show up lazy, unprepared, unmotivated. And I'm not saying he is. But all I'm saying is if there are reasons why you're getting a healthy scratch, they're probably not good reasons. And they're probably not in your favor. So we just need to make sure that for him, he can be available and be ready to go for this year. Because if not, he's going to lose his position. That's why they drafted Skylar Bell. Caleb Elarms, or linebacker from TCU. He received first team All Big 12 honors in 2025. It says in space he can over pursue and take some poor angles, which leads to easy cutback lanes for the offense. But his better attributes, one of them is closing speed, especially when he accelerates downhill. So, developmental guy. He's got to make sure he doesn't give him those cutback lanes, because that's huge in the NFL. You give somebody a cutback lane, they can take it 60 yards on you. It happens all the time. Jaden Kilgore, safety from South Carolina, ranked 6th in this position group. They got him late in the 5th round. As a run stopper, he has all the tools, but needs to be more active. Says versus the pass, he's much more productive in man coverage than when he's in zone. He can get lost in zone coverage, and he is a competitive player. And if he can fit some aspects of his game, he can be successful. Okay. Another player that's got some things he need to work on. If he gets that stuff under control, he might have something going. Zane Durant, defensive tackle out of Penn State, ranked 15th at his position group. He's undersized for a defensive tackle and doesn't have much room to add more mass. And he does struggle to hold his ground against double teams and can be driven out of gaps. Overall, I'm seeing a whole bunch of negatives right now. I'm not really seeing anything good. His ability to play with gap integrity will be greatly tested. So, they said he performed well at the combine, but we'll see. I don't know how I feel about this pickup right now. Toriano Pride Jr. Toriano Pride Jr. I think so. From Missouri. Cornerback, ranked 22nd at his position group. I heard of this guy. Definitely a local name I've heard before. He's fastest cornerback in the combine. That checks out. This guy is extremely fast. Yeah, he's quick. We're in a 4.32. And the speed shows up on film, but he found himself in the trail position often. He's not efficient in getting out of his breaks. His average instincts in press coverage and his lack of length makes it hard for him to reroute wide receivers, and that's going to make it problematic as he transitions to the next level. Just hoping that he can maybe find his stride and cut out a lane for himself in the NFL. because the way they're talking about him, it doesn't seem like he's gonna hang around too long. Tommy Doman from Florida. He's a punter. One of the rare punters we saw get drafted this year. 6'4", 214 pounds. He averaged 44.04 yards per punt in 2025, placing 17 of 50 of them inside the 20-yard line. Okay, so they mean that he got a leg on him. Greg Zuerlein, they said he punts effectively and he'll have an occasional off-target kick. He also said he took care of kickoff duties as well. Okay. Armaj Reed Adams, offensive guard from Texas A&M. Ranked 13th at his position group. This is also their last pick of this year's draft. 6'6", 314 pounds. Says he transferred from Kansas to finish his last 2 seasons at A&M. And he uses his body and his size as an anchor to hold the point. He lacks the power you'd like to see from a player with his build, though. Okay, so he needs to develop a little bit more raw strength. His size gives him size gives him value as depth and a backup option. So he just has to develop. Just development is a huge thing. If you don't have a great staff to develop these players, it doesn't matter anyway. It really doesn't. So let's head back over here. I'm not even going to look at their depth chart. I'm just going to go ahead and see what they gave him for a draft grade. Because I don't really care about their depth chart too much right now. I just want to see what they did for a grade. Okay. So they gave the Bills a B. It looks like they gave him a B for drafting. Yeah, I don't know. Igbo's son. They drafted him kind of early. And then Caleb Alarms, or they gave him a C+ for that. The rating of a B fits. I'm going to give him a B. I'm going to give him... yeah. Well, let's look at their depth chart. That'll determine what I do. Where these players ended up. So he's 3rd string. He's going to be starting. He's on the bench. He's on the bench. He's on the bench. Okay. I'm giving them a B-. That's my grade. And the reason why the Buffalo Bills... okay. Let me say it real quick. So, I'm going to be giving the Buffalo Bills a B-. And the reason why I'm giving them a B- is because after looking at their depth chart, when you have that many players that you drafted and most of them are buried on the depth chart, I mean, what was the point? Yeah, you drafted a couple of players that are probably going to see playing time for you this year, but they're all buried on the depth chart. I mean, if you look at their depth chart, Skylar Bell is over here. Keon Coleman is over here. I mean, I know you didn't draft Keon Coleman, but, you know, you got a lot of players that you did draft that's not going to be starting or playing. He's 3rd string. And, you know, this may just be because the Bills are a really good team. You know, they don't need too much to be better than what they already are. But you're drafting these players, and where you're drafting them at, you have to be cautious of that. You're investing a lot of money into players like Davidson. Is that going to be a player that you want to be on your team 5 years from now, 6 years from now? Skylar Bell, did you draft him to put pressure on Keon Coleman? These are things that you need to think about and look for. When you're reading through these drafts and you're seeing all these players getting picked and selected, you got to understand the motive behind these selections. I don't know what the motive behind Skylar Bell's selection was. I think I know what it was. I don't know why they selected Davidson Igbino's son in the 2nd round. We won't know these things. The organizations do. And they may or may not share these opinions with us. All I can do is come in here and give you my best guess and my sentiment on what I think they did. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for the Buffalo Bills. They got a B-. If you don't like it, go complain to your mama. But that's my grade. And I'll see you guys in the next one. when I get on here to talk about the New England Patriots.